Hey guys, I'm Maddie and welcome back to my channel. We are going to be doing a spoiler-free reading vlog of A Court of Silver Flames. I'm so excited to get into this. Spoiler, I'm actually filming this after I've read it, so you're in for a ride. You're in for a real treat. There will be no spoilers for A Court of Silver Flames, but if you haven't read the first 3 books and novella, there will be references to what goes on in those books. This is technically the last book in the series that has been released. There are more to come. We don't know when, don't know who they're gonna follow, but this series is not complete yet. Anyways, I am 76 pages in, and this is Castian and Nesta's story. So essentially, this takes place after the war. Everyone is back in Valeris, and Nesta is resisting her new life. She is numbing out, doesn't want to be a part of anything, doesn't want anything to do with like Feyre and the inner circle. Even Elaine she's pushed to the side, and she is drinking and getting drunk a lot, hooking up with random dudes, and just not wasting her life away, but not actively participating in her life. She's just having a very hard time adjusting to the post-war, everything she saw, the things that happened between her and Cassian, that moment when they thought they were gonna die together. And Feyre has basically had enough of Nesta wasting their money on gambling and alcohol, so she gives her 2 choices. Go to the human world, get dumped over there where you will have no one and no one will look out for you. You'll basically be a prisoner in the house that you find because no one is going to have your back or want anything to do with a fae living in the human world. Or go up to the House of Winds with Cassian, you train up there with him, and then go work in the library so at least you can be a contributing member of society. Nesta chooses the former option because at least she'll have somebody and have at least a little bit of a community, even if she doesn't want it. So her and Cassian take up to the House of Winds, and Nesta still ain't having it, still doesn't want to do anything. And that's basically where I'm at right now. A lot of people don't like Nesta. They think she's very harsh and a bitch. She had her whole life taken from her, ripped upside down, and was thrown into this new world and expected to adjust to it with no issues. But like growing up, her, Elaine, and like all of the humans and Feyre were told to be afraid of the Fae, that the Fae are bad, and now she is what they were afraid of. So I get her. I get that she's resisting. This isn't a life she chose. This isn't a life she wanted. And now she's just been like, oh, here, now be happy and be thankful for everything you have, even though her whole world is upside down. So I get her. I get why she's acting like this, why she is maybe not being the most cooperative or grateful, but she might not be making the best of her situation. It's like a fine line. I really like how blunt she is. Like reading hers, she's not as like frilly and like romantic as Feyre's POV. This is told in 3rd person. Cassian is like head over heels for her, and like Nesta has a respect for him and like admires him but doesn't want him to know that. So this is the perfect example of how Nesta just says things how they are and doesn't sugarcoat it. She goes, "The female's hands were wrecked. There was no polite way of describing them beyond that. Bones bent and knobbed, fingers at the wrong angles." Whereas if we were in Feyre's mind, it would have been a little more elegantly put, not just the female's hands were wrecked. Nesta really intrigues me. She's like mature, but also very immature. She's a complex character, and you just never know what to expect from her. She's very frustrating, stubborn, strong-willed, knows what she will and won't do. She doesn't fumble or like conform to other people's expectations of her, which I appreciate. It's very interesting seeing that, and seeing that a guy, Cassian, can't persuade her to do things, and if she says no, she means no. She's very closed off, untrusting of other people, which rightfully so. Like everything she does is like has a reason. She doesn't do things just to do them, whereas like Feyre, she was more like reckless that way, but Nesta's very calculated, and she's not a character who's just like, oh yeah, everything's fine now, it's good, I went through a very traumatic thing and I'm good. No, she is sitting with that trauma and dealing with those emotions and the repercussions. And Cassian has the patience of a saint. So many people have the hots for Az. Cassian, I love him so much when he's explaining the cool down and stretching. And he just takes the time and actually cares and doesn't make people feel like an idiot, which I love. He knows the limits. He knows when to push and when to not, and how far without taking it over the top. The first time I saw that look on your face, you were still human. Still human, and I nearly went to my knees before you. Yes, Cassian, I love a man who knows what he wants. I love their POV. I love it so, so much. I do miss Feyre and Rhys, but this book feels so much more mature and developed, and these relationships are just more my speed. I do like this. I like this a lot. There are rumblings of another war, potential war, potentially between like the Fae and the Fae, or the Fae and the humans. Couple of things I wanted to tell you. The first being this fun part made me laugh so hard for no apparent reason. Cassian and Nesta are training, and then he introduces himself to another character, and he goes, "I'm Cassian. Ness, show her your feet." In the context of what they're doing, it makes sense, but just, Ness, show her your feet. One thing I am really enjoying about this book is watching Nesta build her own relationships outside of the inner circle and connecting with people who she's finding on her own. Like, nobody is prompting her to reach out to them or to befriend them. I wouldn't even call it befriending, but to engage with them, I guess, is a better way of putting it. She is doing it on her own, and watching that growth and her take control of certain things is showing a lot of character development for her. And it's not like the other books where kind of like Elaine just took to Feyre's friends. Nesta, she is the black sheep. She's going off and doing her own thing. She kind of goes against the grain, doesn't listen to anybody else. And I love that for her. This is the shit I love. I have no interest in betting a male who looks like he's been in a tavern brawl. We can dim the lights. Yes, yes. The filthy mouth on these two. It is perfect. Perfect. This is my favorite book so far. I'm about 50% through, honestly. I'm pretty far. I'm trying to romanticize reading more and to really lean into the quotes, and this, distantly, like a candle in a window, she felt Cassian's hand tighten on hers. That was the way back. Nothing could trap her, hold her, if she had that way home. That's so sweet. I love that. It's like her tether to the world. I got a muffin, I got a coffee, and I'm reading my book. So Nesta has reached the 6,000th step, and there's only 10,000 steps in the staircase, the one from the House of Winds down to Valeris. She's made it down 6,000 steps, but then she has to go back up to the House of Wind. So she's technically walking 12,000 steps, so I just don't get why she doesn't just keep going all the way down. I know she'll have to get back up to the House of Wind at some point, but can't she just call like Cassian or someone to come pick her up? I just don't know if this has been thought thoroughly through on her end. What is going on right now is almost worse than a war. This one so far, I'm like 2/3 of the way through. This one is much more character driven than plot. Like, there still is a lot of like plot and action, but it's more about character relationships, which shouldn't be super surprising because Nesta was more of an arguer than a fighter. Shocker, I know. But right now what's happening is very sad and frustrating, and you just want to yell at them to figure their shit out, but they all have very big personalities and they've all been together in tight quarters for too long. So things are happening, and it's I don't know what's gonna happen next. Like, I don't know where this is gonna go. If they're gonna come back from it. Cauldron, help me. Or mother save us. Your story is worth telling, you know. Who knew High Fae could be so caring? And if anybody tells you this is just fairy porn, they're wrong. They're so wrong. The deep relationships in this book. This one, there's just something so different about it compared to the other ones. Women supporting women. Ready? We heard about you down here. You are the one the sea and the wind and the earth whispered of. He shuddered. Nesta. She's so badass. Oh my god. She's so real. She is so real for feeling all of her feelings and for like her struggles. Homegirl has her reasons. I was gonna say she's just a human. No, she High Fae now. She no human, but she's just a girl. I'm just a girl. I actually might cry at this one part. The female friendships in this book, and I think that's why I'm enjoying it so much, is, don't get me wrong, it is heavy on the spice, but it's also so much more than that. It's about building more relationships, not just like romantic relationships, also friendships, and this one part is getting me. I don't want to say too much because I think you need to read it and experience it for yourself, but Nesta receives a winter solstice gift from somebody that you only meet in A Court of Silver Flames. It is the sweetest thing ever. It is the most thoughtful and encouraging thing, and when I read it, I genuinely teared up a little bit. Our stories are worth telling. Come on! Come on, go be crying in the club. You three, the most feared warriors in all of the land, have an annual snowball fight? Did I mention we take a steam in the Birkin attached to the cabin afterwards? Completely naked. Yes. Yes. I wish for us to have the courage to go out in the world when we are ready, but to always be able to find our way back to each other no matter what. Miss Nesta. Who knew? Who would have thought? Why do I love this so much? God damn it. Sarah J. Maas, you've broken me. You have broken me. Less than 100 pages. What am I reading? What? No. How? 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 Why? Why? No. No. Okay. Okay. There must be like literal crack in this book because it was so good. Oh my gosh. 5 stars, easily 5 stars, easily my favorite book out of the entire series. And I was so hesitant going into this book because I was like, oh, there's no way Nesta and Cassian can top Rhys and Feyre. Like, I had 4 books to get to know them and no way am I going to be changed or feel differently about them. And not that I feel differently about Rhys and Feyre. I still love them, still think they're great. I've seen some people think less of them after reading this, and not me. Not me at all. I just think more highly of Nesta and Cassian. The ending of this book, what a freaking ride. This book was so well thought out and fleshed out, and it gave reasoning to everything that happened. Like, you as a reader will have a question pop up in your head, and then literally like 3 pages later, all of my questions were answered. I love that in a book, love that so much, and I think this is the best of the entire series. Nesta did not frustrate me as much as some people say she frustrates them. I love her so much. I don't know if it's because I can like relate to some of her feelings and get her and like feel like, obviously I've never gone through what she's gone through or to that extent, but I feel like a lot of her thoughts and pathways and her reasonings for doing what she does align with some of like my thoughts and beliefs and feelings. You get what I'm putting down? But I love this book so much. I'm so sad. I am like, I feel like because this is one of the longest series I've read, I'm like, oh, there'll be a next book. Like I can just go pick up the next book. No next book has been in talks. Don't know when it's coming out. Don't even know title or anything. So it's not setting in yet, but I'm going to be in the biggest book hangover, I think, after this. And it's just like, I haven't processed it yet. I love these characters. I want to see more of them. Good thing I still have Crescent City and Throne of Glass to read by Sarah J Maas, so we'll be good. But anyways, I highly, highly recommend this. If you're scared, like if you've read ACOTAR and you're scared to go into this, don't be. Don't be at all. You will be so pleasantly surprised. Trust me, take my word on this one. Anyways, thank you so much for watching, and I will see you guys in my next one. Bye!